Three things to look for in a natural or barefoot shoe. The first thing is flat and zero drop. So why? Why do you need that? The slightest heel counter elevates your heel, and so that shortens your Achilles and all the posterior calf muscles. And in addition to that, it drops your forefoot downward. So you're putting all your pressure on the heads of your metatarsals. And with that angle, then if you're constantly in shoes with a little bit of a heel drop and your foot is constantly angled downwards, then your metatarsals are now angled downwards. And what that does to your toes is then angle them upwards. And so you've got a whole lot of pressure under your forefoot, basically the ball of your foot. And what that does is then lead to claw toes, hammer toes, all sorts of like little toe deformities because they're not just neutral anymore and they can't just easily extend and flex. They're just gonna start clawing upwards because the extensors are already so tight. So I never threw out all my old shoes, and so just to give an example, well, I did throw out some of them, but here's an example. This is a Merrell, and so this seems like a good shoe. I know people think that Merrell is awesome, and some of them are good. They do have a line of good natural footwear, a couple styles, I should say. But you can see that there is a heel on this, slight, super slight, but still, if I'm gonna wear these to work every single day and be on my feet, then my toes are just gonna take all the pressure, or really the metatarsal phalangeal joints, the ball of your foot straight across takes all the pressure, and that is pretty uncomfortable. The second thing is it needs to be flexible. Why does it need to be so flexible? It needs to be flexible because a rigid shoe makes a huge difference in how our foot can operate. If the sole of the shoe cannot bend naturally, then we're restricting the foot's musculature and the foot's movement. And then that means that the muscles shorten, the tissues get tighter, a windlass mechanism cannot activate. And so what does that mean? What is the windlass mechanism? Just click here if you want to find out more. Basically, it means that at the point in gait when our foot transitions from soft and pronated into rigid and supinated, it can't happen naturally anymore. If the shoe is so rigid, now our foot can't start operating, and so we're just gonna rely on the shoe to propel us forward instead of our own spring-loaded mechanism. Therefore, weakens the foot. And then your shoe's just gonna break down anyway, and so you need a new pair of shoes. Constantly this problem. The third thing that you need to look for in a natural shoe is a wide toe box. And it's probably the most important of all, I would have to say. They're all very important, but I think that the wide toe box is kind of misunderstood. And if you want to learn more, click on this link. We are specifically talking about the width of the area of the foot that houses the toes. And I mean all of them from side to side and up and down, like all the toes, all 5 of them, they're all equally important. They all need to have their own ability to move. When walking, our toes naturally splay, they spread out. And this is another part of the windlass mechanism and now the tie bar mechanism. They're rapidly transitioning between rigid and soft. So the joints actually lock and unlock with every step that you take throughout the day. It is the intrinsic foot muscles that actually make this happen. Our toe box is too tight and our toes cannot fully splay. And I'm talking full splay, not just like, meh. We want full splay, just like you would need your hands if you were walking on your hands, if you're doing a push-up, if you're weight bearing on your hands, you want your hands spread apart. You would never do this. That's basically what our foot is doing inside of traditional footwear. If your toe box is too tight, your toes cannot fully splay, and then those muscles cannot turn on, and therefore they get weakened. So then because of that, a common pattern is the foot starts to toe out. When you're walking, you end up pushing off the inside of your toe instead of the base of your toe. It's really common to start seeing callousing on the inside of your toe, where it's starting to rub against your shoe because it's stuck inside a tapered toe box. And then because of that, you're now pushing off the inside of your foot, and even if you transition to minimal footwear, It's kind of a process, a learning process for your foot, where it has to learn how to walk straight forward again instead of out to the side and just kind of swishing along. So next time you're out shopping for shoes, just start to think about hurting your foot or helping your foot. And I can guarantee you, if you start helping your foot, it will start helping you. And it is a much more pleasurable ride through life to have a foot that's functioning versus not functioning.